Okay, welcome to our discussion of My Bloody Valentine and the remake. Was it 1981? And when the new one come out?
2008, I think, or something. Hold on, I'm looking it up. I'll look it up
I
for
think
you.
it was '09.
I
2009.
remember everybody was all over
Yeah.
that shit when it came out.
Well, you had what's his name?
Jensen
Jensen.
Ackles.
There you go, Jared Nichols in it, and Supernatural was really popular. It had just been out for a couple years. So,
Yeah.
of course, everybody was like, "Yeah, we'll watch it."
I will say I rewatched obviously these this weekend. Watched the original yesterday, and um, I like the original a lot more than I thought I did. A whole lot more.
Oh, see, and I'm
Uh,
over here waiting to like let my hot take come out and be like, I actually think that the remake is a far better movie.
It was in 3D.
I
That has no. I didn't even watch it in 3D. I watched it in
I
2D. It
mean,
didn't
3D automatically makes it better. So I
feel
mean,
a better movie.
argument's over. It was in 3D, so everything else is irrelevant.
I agree with you on that. I do like the remake better than the original. I think it was a good remake of the original. But yeah, basically, uh, these both these movies follow a tragedy that happened. Uh, in the original, it was 20 years ago, and the remake it was like 10 years ago, and about these miners that get trapped and killed in two different ways uh, in both the films, and by Harry uh, Warden, who's become the killer, the minor killer in both of them, and um, talks of him coming back spur on killings in both of the remake and original films, and both films feature uh, endings that you wouldn't usually expect in both cases, um, or maybe you would expect, but more or less
Simpsons
kind of
did it.
a to try to be a plot twist type ending. What do you say?
I said Simpsons did it. You know, like the South Park butters. Like, Simpsons did it.
But yeah, yeah. So what was everyone's thoughts on the original 1981
I
film?
think the original one, like, I don't know, like, I feel like I I didn't love it. Like, I rewatched,
Yeah.
and this was the first time I had rewatched it since this past summer when it like in this past summer when I watched it was the first time I had ever seen the original.
Mm-hmm.
And so I didn't like I don't hate it. It's like it's a slightly above average slasher movie, but I just feel like there are too many characters and you don't care about any of them. Like there's so many like just random like 30 year old teenagers that it's like really hard to like give a shit about any of them.
It's aggressively Canadian. They gave everybody a role. Okay.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, and it feels that way. And
Yes.
because of that, you have no like emotional connection. You're just like, eh, like, okay, something happened to someone. Big deal. And from what I've heard, everybody, when I watched it the first time, everybody told me, they're like, oh, you should have watched the uncut version because I watched it on Hulu. And the Hulu one was
Mm-hmm.
not the uncut version, it was the theatrical. And as much as I enjoy a movie that has like an uncut versus theatrical version, if your movie is that different that to
Yeah.
enjoy it, you tell that people have to say to you like, "Oh, you should watch the uncut version instead."
Maybe that should be the only version.
I agree. Like then the director didn't do his job the first time,
Right.
or the studio did a shit job and made the director cut too much out. In which case, I still say that the writer and the director should go back and fix it versus having like
Mm-hmm.
something subpar.
Right. Right.
But tell them how you really feel.
I
I liked from a horror standpoint. I liked that somebody got killed by having their face put into a pot of boiling hot dogs. I mean,
that's pretty good.
that was
The laundromat
Right.
scene is pretty good. I mean, that's pretty like iconic.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it. It's kind of just why are there so many damn people in this? Like, if you're gonna have that many people, then they all
Yeah,
need to
if you-
die, like that scene in Freddy vs. Jason in the cornfield at like the party, right? Like, they just need to be like fodder. Like, they just really kept showing these randos nobody cared about multiple times, and just don't care.
and it
Kill
was
'em.
hard to like,
And
they all kind of looked like each other. So
Mhm.
with the exception of the heavier set guy, so it's like, who's who? Who am I rooting
Yeah.
for?
Canadian 1 through 12.
Yeah, it was very difficult.
And there was like a random like country music sprinkled throughout the original
Oh,
that
God,
felt
yeah,
really out
yeah.
of place.
It's
Well, they're
gross.
really country folk. I mean, did you see the dance they were trying to put on?
I mean, the whole
Oh,
thing's
yeah,
just
but
depressing. It's like
They're
a
also
caricature of Americans by Canadians.
But I will say that I really like the little theme song that they have, like in the credits. Like,
yeah,
I was like,
that's
okay,
good.
that's kind of a jam. Like, that's a
That
banger.
should have been in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and
Maybe- I was gonna say.
were,
Oh,
So-
go ahead.
the fact that they were so persistent about having the dance in this first one reminded me
Yeah.
of Footloose.
Yeah, I thought that was fun. It was like the Canadian slasher version of Footloose.
We're
Yeah.
gonna dance, and it doesn't matter what murderer says we can't.
That is true. There's some Footloose vibes going on.
I was gonna say maybe Sarah is mad about this because Sarah is like the main character in both of them
Why would that make me mad?
because they wronged your namesake by making that terrible first entry.
Eh,
The guy who played Axel in the first one, Neil Affleck, to me, every time I saw him, he reminded me, and I can't think of his name right now. He was Commissioner. No, he was Harvey Dent in The Dark Knight.
He was
Zero.
I didn't make that.
He looks.
connection.
It's not the same dude, but every time I saw him,
Yeah,
he looks
he
like
does look like him.
he looks spot on.
okay,
Like
and,
what is his name?
like a-
What is his name?
and this is like how unmemorable this movie was. Like, when I rewatched it and he was like the killer, I was like, wait, who's that guy? Like, where was he the whole damn movie? Like, are we supposed to know who he is?
He was
Like,
probably delivering Meals on Wheels between killing people because he was a Canadian
I
serial
was
killer.
just like, I don't understand what's going on. It was just, there were too many people to follow the story easily. Like,
Aaron Eckhart. That was his name.
yeah.
I mean, the thing I like about the first one. I do like how they really try to make that like urban legend thing stick and like be a point. I mean, I appreciate what they tried to do. They tried to build some kind of urban legend that doesn't exist. Like, it was kind of a unique little spin on like who fucking cares about Valentine's Day, period. And then like, so they tried to make Valentine's Day like a shitty day even worse by if you host like a Valentine's Day party, you'll die. So that's kind of cool. And it's like they rip out your hearts. Like, that was, I mean, that it had potential, but it's just
Yeah.
just like ugh.
Stop showing off your happiness. Okay,
Yeah.
we need to all be just like sad, sullen people and get through this day.
It's just such a waste of everybody's time and money. So,
I like Valentine's Day. That's cool.
I mean, I like to get the candy on sale afterwards, but I'm not paying retail for none of that shit. So,
Well, a little less than a month, and you'll be
and
able to do that.
the Canadian dollar is just so worthless. I mean, we should be going up there and buying all their Valentine's Day candy before Valentine's Day, and we could double dip. So,
I feel like this is for my Bloody Valentine original.
I wonder if they celebrate it. Is that how they celebrate up in Canada? Is this like something we've never heard about and they keep it hidden? It's like their purge. They kill each other on Valentine's Day.
They're Canadian. My reference Canadian.
Oh my god.
Maybe that's why we don't hear from them very often this time of year.
The Canadians.
It's the purge. It's the Canadian purge. It's Valentine's Day.
I will say I do like the look of the miner as a killer because it's so simplistic. It's everyday attire for miners, and so like, but it's still, I don't know. I love the look of it. Always have. So So I really liked the whole. I feel like it would have been nice if he had other weapons instead of the pickaxe, and I think he has like a knife towards the end. Some other
But that's keeping it in sync
utensils.
with him being a coal miner.
Well, I know that.
He could have used
I know that, but
dynamite.
surely they use other things besides pickaxe.
He
Well,
could
that's
like
a bit extreme.
run people up with a excavator.
The gore with the.
Just drive around town in a giant killdozer and run over all 25 of them.
On point with the My Bloody Valentine. That would have been cool if they had like tied somebody up with rope, had some like dynamite sitting there, and you just have all these people coming. They're like, "Oh no, going to save our."
Oh, I
friend."
thought you were going a different direction. I thought you were going to say they had like the sex dice and then he just cuts their dick off. So I don't know what the hell I thought you were going to go with that.
I wanted bodies exploding. I want blood everywhere. Like it's just dripping on you. Watch your friend die for dynamite.
I will say I did like the very first kill, where with the girl with that heart tattoo, he just and it went.
I like
right
we're just
through
like
it. I thought it
describing
was
people
cool.
by the way they look because we just didn't even bother to fucking remember their names.
I don't know if we ever got their name.
Heart tattoo guy that looks like Harvey Dent, miner,
Brown-haired
fat guy.
too.
Like the love interest between Jay, Sarah, and Axel. Which, by the way, TJ, I don't agree with the shenanigans. He's dating Sarah, then he up and leaves for 10 years, or no, a year. Maybe it was just a year. Regardless, without any explanation, and he comes back expecting her to, want him back, and for some reason.
Oh
she
yeah, that
does.
sounds about right. Yeah.
Conditional love, obviously.
Yeah, bro.
I'm coming back right at Valentine's time. Like,
I mean, that like fixes
it's
everything.
so romantic.
Like 100%.
Evidently.
That's 100% why all of my ex-girlfriends still talk to me is because I show up every Valentine's Day and magically fix everything.
No, you
As
should be the 15
Harry Warden.
with your half-off candy, and you're like, "Hey, honey,
Sorry I'm late, but
These are little
yeah.
hearts that are like, be
happy
mine.
belated."
No, it's like Charlie. Oh, I'm sorry, I ate all the chocolate, but I bought it. Whoops. Guess I'll try again next year.
Funny story there. Like my with my ex on our first Valentine's we got to spend together. He bought me some chocolate, and then got.
I thought you were married to the Lord, Brandy.
What?
This is the first I've heard of boyfriends. I thought you were married to the Lord. I think people are going to be very upset to hear this.
Spoiler alert,
Is
guys.
this canon? Is this canon for Brandy's character, Patrick?
I wish it wasn't. We can go back and rewrite my wiki page later.
Yeah, we're going to redo that.
But he bought me some chocolate and apparently got hungry while he was at work and ate it. And then just never bought me chocolate to make up for that. So, like, I didn't get any
I would never have
chocolate.
revealed that I had gotten you anything if
No.
I ate it. I just wouldn't have gotten you anything.
I know, like, why would you do that? I think I found the empty box. In
Oh,
his
that's
car.
even worse.
That's why he told me. So I was like, what is this?
Yes. That's stuff.
Yes.
It's Altoids.
So yeah, so overall, the original film, given the hoopla that was happening in the early '80s with all these holiday slashers, Terrorist Ring, Friday the 13th, which came out that same year, in the U.S., I think I have that right. Maybe not. No, it was '80. This is '81. Regardless, I think it's one of the better holiday slasher films.
Yeah.
They set a very low
But-
bar.
I mean, it's
And
not
there's not a lot of them.
a bad movie. Like, I don't think anyone should think that it's a bad movie. It's just not a great movie.
It's not deep. It's literally
Yeah.
just.
It's
yeah.
like it's a solid above average.
Yeah,
It's
I'll agree
watchable.
with
Like
that.
if it's on TV, you can sit down and like watch it without any context and still like, oh man, that guy got fucked
And
up.
that's another thing I was going to mention is that the pacing in it's actually, I think one of the better things about it is it moves pretty quickly and doesn't really drag ever, which is a good thing if you wanted to get through it.
See, and I kind of disagree. I think that's why I don't think it's a great movie, is because it is a little slow.
Oh yeah,
Like, even Matthew
Huh.
was watching it with me today, and he had never seen it, and he was like, "This is kind of boring." Like, he's like, can we
But they're being polite.
yeah.
They don't
Like-
want you to miss any details. It's very
That's
Canadian.
Canadians for you.
you know, like,
They want to hold your hand and explain to you everything the movie's about. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I think that the pacing on it is a little slow. Like, I appreciate that it's shorter. Like, it doesn't go, you know, it's a solid, like, 90-minute horror movie. But I do feel that part of it that's just kind of eh.
I feel like whenever they were doing it, you had you obviously had to set up the killer and him going to people and killing them and sending, anonymous threats or whatever. But then we also had to be interested in this subplot with TJ and Alex and Sarah and what's going on, and like make us like care about their characters and feel sad for her that like he just up and left, but now he's back and she's conflicted.
But there was just so much focus on these other secondary characters, like getting ready for the dance and setting up for the dance, and it was just like, or sitting in the bar, and like it's like you guys could have shaved off like a few minutes of every single one of those scenes, and we would have been like fine.
Yeah, we wouldn't have lost anything.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree with that. But yeah, and then at the end, it's revealed that Axel is the killer, and he escapes down the mine. And yeah.
What a hell of an escape plan! How the hell are you gonna survive down there, bro?
That's the last we see of him. So
Michael Myers tried that once. Well, I guess he was kind of pushed down there.
Yeah, it's like kind of set up in a way that you could have a sequel because like he lived.
Oh.
And so you're like,
I'm surprised that neither of these movies got sequels, to be honest. Like, I feel like that's just something that, I mean, maybe now that Jensen Ackles isn't doing Supernatural, maybe we'll get like a 20 years later, kind of.
Maybe it'll just be like an episode of Supernatural, and it'll bring all the cast members back. And just call it My Bloody Valentine 2.
Well, I think a sequel would be good, but I also think like I'm always just very hesitant about sequels. And especially like this wasn't a great movie to start with, so like how good is the sequel gonna be? We're gonna have to have like the same expectations. We can't expect it to be any better than it is.
True.
And most sequels, like in my opinion, are letdowns, and like we don't need anything worse than what we've got.
Okay, you sound like my mother. Okay, she always tells me I'm a letdown. Okay. For your information, I'm like the best sequel there ever was, so like whatever.
Well, I don't know your mom well enough to disagree with her, so.
Well, she's dead, so.
Oh, so's mine. So.
See,
That's
everybody.
So look at that.
Wow.
well,
Killed my mother.
Not like the others.
Commissioner Gordon.
Commissioner Gordon.
Because the Batman didn't show up.
Yeah, so I will say this was like the prime example of the type of horror film that needed a remake. Because to me, the type of horror film that needs a remake are ones that have potential, that are decent or bad. Those are the ones that need the remakes more so than like Halloween.
Well, yeah, and it's
all
not
that.
The ones that need the remakes are like the ones that weren't terrible, but they definitely had a lot of room for improvement. Like you don't want to remake plastic. Like I feel like that's why like I don't even really like the Friday the 13th like early movies, but I still don't think they need to be remade. Like I don't like the remake. Same with the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. Didn't need a remake. Like I feel like I will make an exception for Halloween because it's technically not a remake, but it's a sequel.
Well, and like I don't really, other than I can't remember his name at the moment, but like one guy from the original My Bloody Valentine, like I don't really know any of the characters, but obviously from this one or the remake that we have, several of those characters, this was 2009. We're 10 years later. They're still doing really well and acting, and we know them, So I think definitely to bring back a good movie and one people are going to watch, a remake's not that bad of an idea with some really good actors that are well known to get you to come in and watch it.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, and the fact alone that this film has Tom Atkins as the sheriff is automatically makes it gold in my book. So, but yeah, Jensen Ackles plays Tom. Okay, I guess that was TJ's character in the original. And I remember seeing this remake in theaters, and it was really I kind of got tripped out because like in the opening credits you have the whole explanation of what happened, how Jensen's character is framed or accused of causing it, and then we have Harry Warden waking up a year after that and killing a whole hospital basically. Then we have another time jump 10 years later from that, and it's so yeah, that always kind of confused me when I saw it in theaters back in 2009, I think. But after rewatching it, all in all, I do agree with Sarah. I think that the remake is, of the two, is the superior film, and probably one of the better remakes overall that has come out the past 15 years, probably, in the horror genre.
Yeah, and it really holds its own. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's not like, oh, it's just a good remake. Like, if this movie wasn't a remake, it would still be like a really good movie.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It doesn't need
Right.
like the provenance of being a remake.
Yeah, like when it came out
No,
originally,
no,
I had
no.
no idea that it was a remake until like a few years ago. So, I thought this was an original movie, and I was like, oh, other than it being
Yeah.
3D, which was like the thing at the time and annoyed me, I was like, this is a really good movie.
Yeah, and I feel like the 3D, like I watched it in 2D, and I was like, oh, that's a little annoying, like, because it's like you can see like all of the places where they're like, let me aim the gun in your face.
Right.
Oh, tree in
Yeah.
your face. Like, and I like those things are always kind of hokey, but I feel like with this one, it probably worked in a theatrical setting.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I think
It definitely did.
I think I remember when this came out, Patrick, and you all were trying to get me to come watch this. It was you and Jeffrey
Probably.
and Ricky were all all about this movie for some reason. I was like, you know what?
Now you regret it?
Hold on, I'm going to go off camera for a moment because my camera is super pixely and it's driving me nuts. But I'm gonna stay on. I'm gonna stay on stand.
All right.
Aha! Look at that, much better.
Oh.
Now,
There you
But
go.
yeah.
Magic.
now I don't look like I'm in like 8-bit.
Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah. I was like, I thought it was my internet connection, but it wasn't. I think my camera's just dying.
Oh no.
It's old. It's old.
I've got a 12-year-old camera on the other computer. It does crazy shit sometimes. Like it'll just get out of focus and stay out of focus, like in the background instead of the foreground. Weird shit. So just unplug it and plug it back in.
That I did notice there were 2 like tributes to the original in this one that I picked up on. I'm sure there were more, but like they did have like a laundry scene where the housekeeper comes, out of the dryer like Mabel did in her laundromat, and then there was one other one that I was the hanging like clothes in the mine, because that happened in the first one. And I was like, I see what you did there, and I liked that.
The remake was like way more scandalous though, because there was like everybody was sleeping with each other, and
Yeah.
I think they tried to spice it up to make it more dramatic.
You know what? I'm gonna say it. Hot take. Axel's a fucking douche and deserves what he got. Like, I have no sympathy.
I
for
mean,
him.
I agree.
I was
Do you
like,
think-
you're not likable. You cheated on your wife. You got another chick pregnant. You basically got her killed. Like,
Yep.
like you're an asshole.
He was not a redeeming character.
No.
I mean, I
Like,
do you
he
think this is
really
the same
just
Axel from Streets of Rage?
Like, he literally just married Sarah to do like a big F you to TJ.
No shit.
And then didn't even enjoy the life that he had.
It's called Spite. Brandy. It's
Yeah,
totally
he's
worth it.
He's like, oh yeah, Tom, I got her. She's at home sleeping with me. Well, too bad you're not at home sleeping with her.
I'm not sleepy
No,
right now.
He's going to a cabin and
I've
sleeping
got
with
the other
another
chick.
girl.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're sleeping with the grocery store clerk.
Okay, you can only sleep once a night. Okay, everybody. Okay,
To be fair, they're in a small town, so there's only so many jobs they have.
right.
So,
I just didn't. I was like, I found it interesting that you almost feel bad for Tom in this. Like, even though he's the killer, the way that they present it is a far more like of the like even, and it's not even of the age because it's not like a now movie, but like there's far more.
Yeah.
I feel like sympathy towards mental illness,
yeah,
which
Yeah,
you did not see in the original.
yeah.
Well, they're
that's true.
mentally
Because
honest.
like he goes through all of that with
perfect.
all those people dying. His father's blamed. His father turns into a killer. Like he's got all this just trauma and like, you know, the only way to deal with it was to run away. He never acknowledged the problem before coming back, and it
Well, in the new one,
manifested itself.
well, in the new one, he's in a mental institution for 7 years.
Right.
So,
He didn't
That
know
worked out well for
father
Michael
was in there.
Myers.
but they make like, I feel like they make him, as much as he's the bad guy, you almost feel bad for him. Like the way it's presented is in a far more sympathetic light. Like when you kind of see him having like a psychotic break and he's like seeing Harry coming towards him and he's like,
Yeah.
shoot him, and he's like disconnected. And I felt like they did a really good job at making the good guy not good and making the bad guy not entirely bad either.
It did, yeah. You
Yeah,
get kind of a vibe.
absolutely.
It's almost like a little bit of the early Friday the 13th, where like Jason's just like so totally fucked up, you know, but he can't communicate. At least this guy was like at least able to talk. But it's like the trauma is like, you know what? You shouldn't be killing people, but you kind of understand where they're coming from. You know, the trauma builds up, and you know, those kids shouldn't be having underage sex and sex out of wedlock. That's just not. It's not cool.
That's how you get killed.
That's how you get killed.
Well, and they make it a point to kind of show in the beginning of the remake how like Jensen's character looks lost when Axel like takes the two girls and just fucking leaves him there, like, you know. And it's kind of like fucked up because at one point Sarah's like
peace out.
Well, she's like, oh, well, you know, when Megan's asking her, like, why did you end up going with Axel or whatever? And she was like, well, he was there for me when I needed him. Bitch, you walked away from Jensen Ackles with him. Like, Jensen Ackles literally saved your fucking ass.
No,
And
we don't acknowledge that.
And then he left because everyone accused him of fucking killing everybody. So I would have left town too.
Yeah.
That's fair. I mean, that's why I
Like,
left. Fulton.
I feel
I've
like
been accused of many murders.
I feel like Tom's character in this one is like way more misunderstood than Axel in the original one.
Oh yeah.
The original one, Axel's still kind
absolutely.
of evil, and you don't like him anyway.
Who is that?
Yeah. And the thing is, like, I think you really only get one super brief shot. It's not even a scene, it's more of just a shot of Axel's backstory from when he was a kid in the original one. So you don't have that sympathy for him at all, really. In this one, it's the opposite. You know, based on how it's laid out, how it's presented, I think you definitely are more, you know, sympathetic towards Tom in this one, absolutely.
Yeah. It's just a better, and I won't say it's a great, because I don't think that we should always illustrate mental illness as making people psychotic, you know, homicidal killers.
Right.
But I think it's I think it's a far more responsible take on it.
Yeah. Right.
Like illustrating that like he wasn't always in control of himself.
And he definitely wasn't
Right.
ready to go back to the town. Like, he picked the most traumatic time for him to go back. And he never, like, he just shows up unannounced. He hasn't talked to these people.
Well, he came.
in years. And I know
Well, he
had to
came
come
there
back to
because
find
his
Pam.
dad had died.
It was jury duty,
Yeah.
actually. That was in the DVD notes. And they cut it out. It just was not deemed sexy enough. So they had to kill his dad.
Regardless, this time frame is like the most traumatic time that he could come back, you know, like,
Yeah.
and whatever he's been doing for these last 10 years, he still hasn't worked through enough of what happened to like make him really be comfortable about going back, because clearly like it fucking broke him to go back.
Yeah.
I just think
Right.
overall that this movie did a far better job of like just making you care about the characters. Like there was a lot more
Yeah.
character
Mhm.
development, and I think it really benefited the movie.
That's probably the biggest difference. Yeah, it's just like the characters just weren't blah like they were in the first one. The first one, there's characters because you have to have characters to die. And the second one's like, oh,
Yeah,
this is why this guy
basically.
does this for this, and she's sleeping with him, and he's not sleeping with her, but should be. But she's, it's like,
Like
yeah,
you
it just
have
added layers.
you have some minor characters, but like the people they want you to care about are very involved in the
Mhm.
film and with each other.
Yeah,
Hmm.
Did you get the vibe in the remake though that like the people kind of didn't like each other very much? Whereas the first one, even though I don't have any attachment to any of them, it seemed like they got along a lot better. Like they actually enjoyed being
Yeah.
around each other.
but I think that like actually works in the movie because like in the movie they don't really get along with each other.
Oh look, it's Ailey, aka dip out on movie marathons that she starts. Dip out on this retrospective too, huh? We're going to force her to finish something she starts, Jumanji style.
Jumanji stuff.
We're gonna have to make it through this whole pandemic thing, I think, before we start some new stuff.
I will jump through that screen right now
Do it.
and beat the hell out of Patrick for not finding my Switch controller.
So I think oh, I'll try.
Definitely.
No, you
I
have
think
not
we
tried.
can all agree that. I said I'll try. I think we can all agree though that we all will pick the remake over the original, as far as if we're having to choose one side or the other. I think it's safe to say, based on our conversation here and everyone's thoughts towards both, would you all agree?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's just different, but better. But
And then
it would be cool to have more of the urban legend in the remake. They don't really, they just kind of pan it on the mental illness and breaking the poor bastard instead of having some reason for there to be a killer.
But I think that also kind of shows you like how traumatic events can be, and like the way the townspeople treated him. They just wanted to like blame him, and that just like really screwed with him mentally.
Andy, you have to drive the snakes out of Ireland.
well,
Okay.
they also blamed him though because of him selling the mine.
Yeah, they were mad because he was like getting rid of their livelihood, but at the same time, like he wasn't there. He didn't live there. It didn't benefit him.
It's also 2009. Mines just aren't
Traumatic
profitable.
for him.
yeah,
Maybe one of the townspeople should have had enough money to buy the mine.
Are you telling me that Gaston is a bad guy in Beauty and the Beast? Because I'm not ready for that kind of revelation.
I'm not saying he's a great guy by any means.
Sandwich with words? That is just lighthearted fun. Okay?
sandwich with words.
You have to drive the monsters out of the village, Randy. You sound like
No.
you're hiding somebody in your house right now as fugitive of the law.
I will neither confirm nor deny that
See?
for legal purposes.
Mm-hmm. There's your sequel.
There's your sequel. She has Jensen. She has Eccles in the house.
Eccles is in the house.
Not tied up in here.
They're just like a pickaxe just flies by you and just like sticks in the wall.
It's just like
Just like we talked about this.
And that's the cold open for My Bloody Valentine 2021.
2020.
It's the premiere. It was our viral marketing campaign. We were sitting on a completed movie the entire time. Profit.
which
Scream movie is it? Where they have that opening where they're watching a horror movie?
The second one.
That's
That's
different
like-
too.
Okay, I always get them confused. But yeah, that could be how this is. We're having our thing, and then he comes in, kills me, and boom, we start through the actual movie.
You'd like that a little bit too much, I think.
Yeah, I mean, Brady,
no,
we're not trying to actually kill people here. I mean, we were just joking around, but it sounds like you got some things you need to work out. I mean, I've been playing about burning down Patrick's house, but I will not actually burn down Patrick's house because it would destroy my controller. You guys I'm not that crazy. I'll find the controller, then burn down Patrick's house.
There you go.
That's how an adult takes care of their problems. It's immature to destroy your own shit. That's not rock and
So
roll.
resolve it for yourself, and then cause mayhem for everyone
Yes.
else.
Yes.
Got it.
Voltaire said, "Tend to your own
So,
garden."
is there anything else you guys would like to talk about on these two films before we wrap it up for the night and celebrate officially Valentine's Day tomorrow, Sunday the 14th?
Oh, we don't celebrate Valentine's Day in this house.
No. Okay.
I don't have any idea what we're doing yet, so it'll be a surprise.
There you go. Wow.
Well, I will be at home by myself, so
Wow.
Well, I
That's
didn't
the
quite.
person
I didn't quite ask what you were doing. I was saying, is there anything else you want to talk about these movies before we?
no,
Call
I'm
it
just
night.
saying, like for
Brady,
Valentine's.
it
Okay.
sounds like you got plenty of free time on your hands. I think you should start on the script for My Bloody Valentine too.
You know what? I'll do
A
that.
2021 love story.
I'll do that just as soon as you finish your.
Maximum Overdrive.
There you go, Maximum Overdrive. I always think Fury Road.
These events are all very much related. I'll have you know. Okay.
I want to see it.
Canadians are responsible for most of our problems if you dig deep enough.
Oh,
They're
we're
just
still
too
waiting
damn
for
polite.
that diagram. So yeah.
I'm still waiting on that Switch controller. So we're all waiting on things that haven't happened yet, aren't
The
we?
diagram was supposed to be done first. So get that done. He'll get you the Switch controller, and I will have My Bloody Valentine 2 up and ready. Sequel
I'm
will
gonna be really upset
on-
when I deliver my end and you all haven't. That's all I'm gonna say. At least Sarah's not making wild ass promises she doesn't plan on keeping.
All right, guys. Well, I think that about wraps up our thoughts on these original remakes of My Bloody Valentine.
Are there any other Valentine horror movies?
There's Valentine. There's a movie called Valentine. That's one.
Yeah.
It's pretty
There's
good.
Valentine, and does Holidays have a Valentine's? Yes, Holidays has a Valentine's.
Yeah. Right.
So it's an unexplored holiday for horror.
It's definitely one of the least ones that has. There's tons of Christmas ones now. There's
I mean,
Yeah,
I would love to see a
Cuckoo.
President's Day
There's
horror
not-
movie.
But there's also more than I think other holidays. I can't think of another holiday aside from like Christmas that has as many.
no
Because like even Thanksgiving, there's really only Pilgrim.
Blood
and-
Rage.
Don't say
Great.
Thanksgiving.
I
Don't say
mean-
Thanksgiving.
I hated Thanksgiving, and I mean I guess Thanksgiving, heck yeah.
Gobble
Yeah.
gobble, motherfucker.
When I think of holiday movies, I think of like the Leprechaun for
St. Patrick's Day.
Bless. Thank God we got so many leprechauns. That was amazing. That was like the best. We need more shit like that for random holidays.
Any of the Leprechaun movies actually take place on St. Patrick's Day?
I don't think any of them
I
do.
don't think any of
I
them
don't
do.
know.
I think they do. So it's
But,
not
like-
really a holiday movie. It's just a horror movie that features a
Oh well.
Well, I associate it
That's-
with St. Patrick's
yeah.
Day. So to me, it's a holiday
I want
movie.
to write a President's Day horror movie.
I feel like that's kind of discriminatory towards leprechauns.
I mean, they seem like evil little bastards, though. I don't know.
just around for St. Patrick's Day.
Mm.
Same.
They're no
Yeah,
bueno,
but we
though.
ignore
Don't be
them for the
talking
rest
to
of
them.
the year because we're like, oh, summer, all these other holidays, all these other things to focus on, and that's why the leprechauns get to go around and just they don't get bothered the rest of the year.
Are there any 4th of July horror movies?
There's Uncle Sam.
Yeah.
Technically Jaws.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
But is that a horror?
Independence Day.
Jaws? Is
I
Jaws
mean,
a horror movie?
Jaws a horror
No,
movie.
I mean like thriller or suspense. Like,
Horror, there are body parts.
Horror movie.
okay, I get confused.
Every body count.
Okay,
I mean, you have more than one person who dies.
Okay, first off, the mayor was totally within his right to open the beach back up. So you all need to get off his ass.
Nobody said he
Because
wasn't.
the tourism dollars had to be generated on that shitty little beach. Okay,
That's questionable.
I don't want to hear any of it.
Honestly, if COVID has taught us anything, it's that this mayor is not Hollywood. This is literally like how every governor in this
That
country
was
says.
that was my favorite meme. Was like it was just showing the mayor from.
Yeah.
This is like governor opens up economy 2 weeks into lockdown.
Yeah. I like the
It
one
was
that was
just-
like, we're going to
just
have to
fun.
change the phrase, avoid it like the plague, because we've all proven that we're not going to do that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna avoid it like responsibility.
True.
There you go.
Ugh. All right, guys. Well, I think we'll wrap it up here.
Dimitri did
No,
not sign
listen.
a waiver, so Dimitri will
And
not be
Patrick.
participating.
You can blur out
I'm
his face.
Shelby.
Just blur it. That's Brandy, that's Sarah, that's Shelby, I'm Patrick, and thanks for
Dimitri.
tuning in, and we'll catch you next time.